Do you find it hard to face your challenges? How do you cope with your challenges? Have you ever looked at yourself and wondered, what should you do when you face adversity or crisis? What do I do? How do I approach my adversity? Does my techniques work or do they make them worse? Hey everyone, and today in this third episode of Kaizen with Eris, where we focus on the principles and the ideas that could get you 1% better each day, my guest, I'm amazed to say that my guest is Chris Ronas. He, after being in the military for 26 years now, he has figured out a system that he calls You Matter, that essentially is the guide for overcoming adversity and crisis in our everyday life. It's a combination of his life's work and experiences that came together in this program, which is also a new way of thinking that we can carry on our everyday lives. He's also one of my biggest friends and very much progressive. It's just a great human being. So, Chris Ronas, welcome.
Hey, thanks, Eris. It's so good to be here, man. So good to see you. I know we're on the other side of the planet and we're all dealing with some of the same issues, which is crazy, but how cool is this technology that we can have this conversation?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Thanks for having me here, man.
It's almost like it's always a pleasure for you to be here. And before I start with anything of these questions, I just wanted to my audience to know that Chris was one of the people who inspired me to get through with my journey. He was actually the first guy I interviewed and one of the first people I had a conversation with. If I wanted to meet this guy, I wouldn't be here today. So I mean that. It's not just kind of stuff. So should we just start in? But people want to know you. People want to know your story. How did you get to be here? How did you get to go from military to now teaching people your matter? They matter, your program.
Wow. It's kind of a crazy story. Being an officer in the military for the United States, we learned so many things about leadership and how to care for people and work together as a team to accomplish a common goal. But we also learned that we're all dealing with struggles. We're all human beings being human. And for me, it's just a quick story of a friend who wasn't in the military, who was going through a life struggle. I came out of work one day, checked my social media, and there was a post from my friend that said, "That's it. Today's the day. I'm done. It's too much. I can't handle life anymore. And I quit and I'm going to do something about it." And he was basically telling the world he was going to take his own life.
Wow.
And go. What do you do? How do you help your friend if you see that situation? Oh, by the way, he was 1,000 miles away, right? The other side of the globe from me. And I didn't have his phone number. I didn't have his physical address. I didn't know how to send him help. I didn't know how to contact him other than some social media chats that we'd had. But I knew my friend was serious because we'd been talking over social media chats for last month, and I knew his struggle and how hard it was. And I wanted to help my friend. How do you do that? Well, for me, we train on this in the military, this particular situation of people having those morbid ruminations of a crisis so overwhelming that they think they can't handle it, and so they just want to quit, right? And I looked at my toolkit, and none of those things that we'd been trained on could help me help my civilian friend in this moment, this time, this need. So then I looked at all the things I'd learned as a leader. How could I, with my leadership tools designed for military people, help this person? And none of those tools were there either. And what came to mind was MATTER, this acronym MATTER. It's something we use in aviation because in aviation, it's always emergency waiting to happen for you. And so when the wings are about to fall off or the engines are on fire or things are going bad, we use this acronym to stay calm. And it's maintain control, analyze the situation, take the immediate action, and refer to a checklist. And so I adapted that to this situation and built an immediate action plan and figured out how to help my friend. In the end, we were able to communicate with a bunch of other people that all came together, brought that information that we needed of where he lived, how to get a hold of him, and we were able to communicate with him face to face accidentally. And in that exact moment that he accidentally hit video chat and saw me on his phone, he went from despair to hope that fast. And that was the aha moment that not only helped my friend be his own hero in his own darkest moment, but helped me realize that my culmination of life's experiences and aviation experiences and leadership experiences can be used for good to create a proactive approach to help people not only get out of that situation, but avoid it altogether. And so here I am.
I gotta recover from that. I got chills when you just said that. Wow, what a story. It's amazing how life presents us these opportunities and unfolds where like it gives us the journey of this is how where you're meant to be. And this is if you want to choose to be here, or if you don't, that's your choice. And I think there's some people that have achieved to live what they're meant to do. And I think you're one of them. And I really appreciate that. And my second question would be, I'm gonna all messy. Why are you more focused on background individuals? I want to get to know that person that you're helping more. What's it like to be in that position? I've never been there. I want the audience to also have sympathy for those people, because because of those people is that we're here today, right? What's it like to be in that position? Can you share that with us?
You mean someone who's in that struggle right now?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, Eris, if you haven't been there, you have, you're just not thinking about it. At the end of the day, every single person on the planet is either going through a struggle, or you've already been through a struggle, or you've got one coming. But it's adversity, right? A struggle doesn't mean a negative experience. It just means it's a challenge, right? It could be a goal you're trying to achieve. You've faced adversity. And how did you get through it? The real challenge is when there's a life challenge that comes for you that you're just not prepared for because you've never experienced it before. There's no book that you can go to that tells you how to get through those. There's lots of books and people have written lots of knowledge on lots of things, but there's no one solution fits all people, right? Everybody's life is different. And where that really hits the most is the younger generation. It doesn't matter which generation it is, it matters that time in your life. Between 18 to 25 is the hardest part. That's when you're trying to figure out what your purpose is, what you're supposed to do in your life, what you want to do. And that's when you're getting exposed to living on your own. You're no longer under the umbrella of your parents or your family or whatever upbringing you had. You're now going out into the world. And for the military, that's the young generation that we bring in right away. We want that because they're also the most energetic, most motivated. They really want to go out and conquer the world and do amazing things, right? And they want to go get that education or go figure out what it is they're supposed to do. But there isn't a whole lot of guidance to help them do that. And in today's world, we've never been more connected like we are online. Look, you and I are chatting on the other side of the planet from each other. But at the same time, the strength in relationships isn't there like it used to be, especially for today's generation of those people that are 18 to 25. So they're the ones that really need us the most.
Right. I have my marketing agency, as you know, and you see that this technology has made us more capable of being connected with everyone, but has really separated us from like our spouse, our partner, our friends, or relationships that we really have. We don't have more deep connections. We just have wide connections more now.
That's right.
And I appreciate that you said that so much. Now I'm very, very interested in your program. I really want to know, because I've seen your program and it's unlike everything that I've seen, but I want you to elaborate for me. Why is this different from other people, from what we've seen so far? What is You Matter? Can you explain for us and for the public, please?
So You Matter is a proactive approach to dealing with life's struggles, but also just a guided philosophical system by me that helps you have a conversation with yourself. And it really starts with a foundation of relationships. I ask people this question all the time, Eris, and I get the same look every time. Do you have in your life 5 people that are your most trusted confidants, the ones you reach out to share your good news, the ones that you reach out to when you're going to make a life decision and you just want some advice? Or when you're faced with that adversity, whether it's a goal you're trying to achieve or a challenge that life has presented to you that you're not sure how to navigate, these are the people you reach out to. But the question is 5 5. Most people go, yeah, 5, and then they stop and they think and they 5. I will tell you that you do. I don't care how old you are, you do have 5. And part of what I do is teach you how to find the right 5, because we all have different social circles and they're separate for a reason. Yes. But I show you how to find those people within those social circles that you know you can trust and confide in, because their interest is the same as you. They want to help you, they love you, they care about you, and they want to see you succeed in life, right? So those people are the ones that you're looking for. The next question is the hardest one to answer, and that is, okay, however many you identified, even if it was just 2, do they know each other or do they only know you? And that's the most powerful part of this, because once you learn how to figure out who they are and then connect them together through a social media app, whether that's, you need 2 forms. You need something like I told you with the story I learned from my friend Travis. The moment he saw my face, he went from despair to hope. So you need to be able to do video and voice, but you also need to be able to have a text format, because everybody's busy, right? And you have to connect them together. I use an app called Marco Polo, which is phenomenal. I don't make any money for them or make money by them, but it's that kind of technology of being able to leave a video message where your friends, wherever they're at on the planet, like if you were one of my 5, Eris, I could send you that message and you could get it in your time zone when you're ready to receive. You don't have to instantly be there, right? And I call these lifeguards. And the reason why I call them lifeguards is because when you're swimming in the ocean or in the water, you can't see the trouble that's coming for you, but they can. They know you, they know your life in snippets of time, and they're already people you trust and confide in. To me, that's the foundation. It has to do with not just connectedness, but relatedness.
What does MATTER stand for?
So I gave a brief overview of it, but MATTER, again, like I said, in the aircraft, it's an acronym that we use to stay calm. There's an actual dash on the clock of most US military aircraft that is not electrical. You have to wind it, it's mechanical. So the first thing we do is say, stop and wind that watch, take a breath, and think of this acronym: maintain control. M, maintain control. Keep flying the aircraft. Don't just go, oh, that's it, and crash. Just because your life could be upside down and crazy and falling apart doesn't mean that you have to fall apart. So maintain control. A is analyze the situation. What are the facts to your situation? We get so emotionally wrapped up in things, whether it's a goal we're trying to achieve or a struggle we're trying to get through, that we forget to focus on just the facts. And then that emotions become overwhelming, and that's when we think we can't do it. So I help you gauge on just what are the facts to that situation to help clear your thought and pave a way. T, take immediate action. Well, part of that process, that system that I teach it's a kind of a funnel where it's information. That tool, we build another tool, and then from that another, and so on, until you have figured out for your own personal life what your goals, ambitions are, what your bad habits are, what the struggles are, and how to get through that. So that is the next step. Once you build all that, you take the appropriate action or take immediate action and apply that plan that you built for yourself in that situation. And then R, guess what? Refer to the plan. Part of that includes reaching out to those 5 lifeguards I talked to you about and communicating with them in an organized fashion over a plan you built that you've shared with them, as much as or little as you want to, but you'll get out of it what you put into it. So MATR, maintain control, analyze the situation, take immediate action, refer to your plan. I put it on a little card that I give to people when they complete the course. They see it here on the back. It gives them the steps so that when they're in that moment of crisis, and it gives them their lifeguards and a place to write it where they can remember it. This is not a business card. This is a reference card. It's durable. You keep it so that when you're in that moment where things seem a little bit overwhelming, again, whether it's a goal you're trying to achieve or just an adversity you're trying to get past, you can look at this and you can recall what you're doing, what you've already built for yourself to be your own hero. That's the acronym.
Wow. Like, I really appreciate that you're sharing this. When I saw your program, I thought, what do I need a crisis? What do I need an adversity program? But then as I've been through this journey, I realized, and I look back at my life, there's couple of actions that I took that just hand me tight there, that if I wouldn't taken them, I wouldn't be here. So if you want to have stability in your business, if you don't want to hope for life to turn out this way, that it's gonna go into these various forms that you finally do what you want to do, you need this.
Yeah.
Don't pretend that like you don't need it. What she said, come back, run it around, write those goals, those steps, because they're really, I've met Chris on a Tony Robbins event. He's crazy about what he does. He cares so much about what he does. He's been studying for years now. And I want you to know that this info that he's sharing, it's legit. It's almost like, unlike, this is not good in marketing, but it's almost like, it's really like, I've never seen this kind of information before. So I really, really appreciate what you're doing. I really appreciate that you are willing to share these free tips. Tell me a bit about, well, what I want to talk more is your principles. We all have principles. And since I want everyone to know, I'm passionate about this, but I want everyone to know how you approach this. Can you tell me?
And for me, it's just a quick story.
5 principles that Chris Ronas uses every time he's living his life, that Chris Ronas uses, that he probably would teach to his younger self.
Absolutely. I think the first one is that attitude is everything, right? So you bloom where you planted and you leave the place better than you found it. Or an aviation analogy is your attitude determines your altitude, right? And so when you take, like, you can go look anywhere, you'll see a concrete road or a piece of asphalt or whatever. You see a weed growing in there. That's what it's doing. It's blooming where it was planted, right? Now, if that's a beautiful flower, it's going to make that place better, right? If it's a weed, that's not something you want in your life. So the attitude determines if you're going to be a weed or a flower. Well, I choose to be something that leaves the place better than I found it, right? So the idea is you can impact even the most interesting of people or any kind of person without even knowing it, just by how you carry yourself with that attitude. One moment encounter with somebody could make their entire day different just because you had that attitude of bloom where you're planted, leave the place where you found it. No matter what life gives you, own it, make it your own, take it and run with it. So that's that one.
That's number 1. That's great. Keep us with number 2. I'm not leaving you off the hook now. I'm going to have fun.
All right. Number 2. Number 2 came to me in a moment where I had a daughter that I lost to death, and people are like, oh my God, what a tragedy. And yes, it was, and it still is. But when you look at number 1, bloom where you're planted, leave the place better when you found it. I thought, well, what can I do with this? And what I learned from that incredible experience, as hard as it was, is that every moment is priceless. We're so busy worrying about what we're going to do tomorrow, or what we're going to do this or that, or our plans, what's happening in our lives. Be in the moment, right? And so for me, that second one really has to do with enjoy my day, because once the day is gone, you can't get it back. And it goes back to, just because everything around you is falling apart doesn't mean you have to, right? But enjoy that day, because once it's gone, there's no repeats. You can't get it back.
Yeah, there's no replay.
That's right. There's no replay.
I got chills right now, but let's go to number 3. What does Chris think about number 3?
Okay, so number 3 is the tool I use to help me do 1 and 2, right? Which is, look, smile. Like, just make it a conscious effort to smile. Not one of those big, creepy, scary smiles, but just a nice, warm smile. You'll feel better about what's going on in your world, no matter what. And it's hard to do this, right? Sometimes things just pile on you, or you're in that moment of you want to react to something or be angry. But if you just stop and smile for a second, you'll find the humor in the situation and you'll make it lighter for those around you. And believe it or not, that can be a turning point in any kind of difficult scenario. In the military, combat environments were super stressful and you're like, I don't know how we're going to get through this. You just stop and smile for a little bit, and we all starting to find the humor in the situation. And next thing you know, you've gotten through that situation and you're like, how did we do that? Well, it just calmed you down because, oh, by the way, smiling makes you about 20% smarter. It gives you a chemical response in your brain that you can think more clearly. So smile. And when you reciprocate that, others, perfect strangers, try it sometime next time you're walking through the airport. Just kind of give people a nice smile as you're walking by and you make that eye contact. Every single person will smile back, I promise. And you'll make their day better and yours as well. It just pays back.
I have a comment about this. Like, the world needs to smile more, but how I got this, how it hit me, it was like, what do I do so I make myself happy? What do I do so I make myself happy? Let me just do this thing. Let me do this thing. Do 8 hours of this thing because I'm amazing overachiever as he is. He's more than me. Then I thought about, well, what if I just smile? That actually worked, right? So it's these obvious things, right? The world definitely needs to smile more, and I applaud you for that. Number 4. Did you think I forgot?
No, I'm ready. All right. So never pass up an opportunity. Opportunity waits for no one, right? And what I mean by that is, look, there's lots of things that come at you. It's how you perceive it is what makes it the opportunity. So just because somebody's saying, hey, would you like to do X? That doesn't mean say yes to everything. But it means take the time to recognize how that thing and how you're perceiving it could be an opportunity, because maybe you're not thinking about it the way it is. And I promise you, there's opportunity in every challenge and every adversity. There's something good that can come of it. But are you thinking of it that way? And is that an action that you want to take, right? So what I mean by never pass up an opportunity is stop when life events are happening around you, whatever they may be, and think about that as opportunity. Challenge yourself to find the opportunity in it, and then see if it's an opportunity that you think you should capitalize on for the benefit of yourself or the benefit of others.
Well, I'm glad you said yes to us, my friend. As with this crazy schedule as well.
Mm-hmm.
Did you write that down, listener? Because we're going to go to number 5 now.
All right, number 5. Number 5, you can't manage time. You can only prioritize it. People think all the time, I'm a good time manager, or I'm managing my time, or I've got these things scheduled, I got a to-do list, I got whatever. But at the end of the day, time doesn't wait for you, and it doesn't care what you got going on. You're not managing time. Time is a function that just happens, right? Right now, my clock is ticking, your clock is ticking. I can't change how I did those times. I can only change how I prioritize the things I'm going to do in my life to make the most of the time that is afforded to me. And when you go back to the other things that I told you about, enjoying the day, that moment, because once it's gone, you can't get it back. That's because of a function of time. So to me, seizing that moment, that's a priority, capitalizing on those little moments and categorizing them and putting them away. So you can't manage time. You can only prioritize how you're going to use your time.
You can't manage time. You can only prioritize. I wrote that down. It was brilliant. These 5 principles is really what he thinks about.
Now, these 5 principles, very few are mine. These are all snippets of things I've heard across my life experiences that have culminated together. Someone else has probably said them, probably somebody famous I don't even know. They've all culminated together to equate to who Chris Ronas is and the principles I use. 5 of many that I guide my life. Because when I told you guys about You Matter, the piece I didn't share with you is the overall piece of it. Look, at the end of the day, everybody should be trying to figure out how to get awesome and stay awesome. And staying awesome is the hard part. But that's why I call it that. Get awesome and stay awesome. That, in and of itself, is the challenge. That is the adversity.
And that ties in perfectly with what your work as well and what our podcast is about. But what I love mostly about your work is that you can you don't have to block all your time. You can do it on your pace. Like the videos are there. It's elaborated. It's a video is 25 minutes at most. It's you can start this now, start the other one now, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's all modular, and I recognize that people are busy. You can literally probably do this 5 minutes at a time. I mean, you can take a year to complete the criteria. The whole thing is 3.5 hours. You could do it then. I would caution against that. I think the way I've designed it is it's me having a conversation with you and forcing you to answer some questions to yourself in a journal, right? And you are taking notes for yourself, and you're thinking about you, your life, and what you want to do. And so that takes time. You need to kind of process some of those things and start thinking about who those people are in your life, or you don't, but at least you're having that honest conversation with yourself. And oh, by the way, you don't have to wait till you have 5 lifeguards to do the rest of the program, right? You don't have to just go, well, I don't have 5. That's going to take forever. It took me 3 months to figure out who the right 5 were for me. And that they don't stay the same. They're going to change as you grow and evolve, and as they're growing and evolving, because they're human beings too, right? Maybe they don't have time, or maybe something came up in their world. But the power in that, by the way, is that my 5 who never knew each other before are now helping each other also overcome their own adversities. Like they're a team now that are all inspired to help each other, not just me. And
I know.
So yeah, but it's modular, and they can do it however long they want to take.
I love how you said it. It's not just me, right? What do we do all the time? We think there's this overcompetence bias where 90% of the drivers think they are better than 90% of the drivers. Of course, you're special. And of course, 80% of women think they have this unique thing about them, unique character traits, something in them that makes them on the top 10% of all women. Now there's a kind of problem with that. Of course, you're special and unique, and there's no one like you. But you need to realize that you have flaws, you have weaknesses, you're human. And what we do, Chris and I, we're progressive people, but we don't just do that as all by myself stuff. We learn, we have mentors. Part of why you're here is because you realize that as well. We need mentors to doing this stuff. You can't just hope to do everything by yourself, right? You need a holding hand. You need a lifeguard in this case. Like Chris, I'm hoping you don't mind me sharing the story, but Chris wasn't so much into this program. He was confused what he was going to do until he met Simon Sinek, and he had an hour with him. It changed. He was so clear in just 1 hour of his time, right? You tell them.
Well, and that was huge, right? Yeah. Through a crazy series of events, I was blessed to have an opportunity of gaining an hour of time with Simon Sinek that he spent time helping me be better. But what did that require of me, right? I had to be courageous. What is courage, right? It's being brave despite your fears. I had lots of fears. Hey man, it's Simon Sinek. This guy's a big name. I was kind of starstruck. I'm like, I'm talking to Simon. And the first question he asked me is, how can I help? And I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for such a kind gesture. And so I had to be vulnerable, and having that courage to be vulnerable is what makes us better, right? And Simon, he wasn't like giving me a bunch of fluff. He wasn't saying, oh, this is great and that's great and here's what you're doing good. But that's what we do to each other every day, right? We give each other fluff. No, Simon gave me tough love, man. He was like, look, man, you're onto something, but you need to do this. This needs to change. Here's some recommendations for that and the other. And he gave me a whole bunch of things to think about. But if I didn't have the courage to be vulnerable, to put myself out there, I couldn't have made this a better system to help others, right? And that's the whole point.
Yes, that's part of my whole mission is about. Because I have my marketing agency and all of that.
Yeah, so I'm grateful to Simon, and I don't know if he'll ever see this, but if he does, Simon, thank you, because this is better because of those inputs that he gave. Right?
It's thank you. Like, this is kind of what I want to do also with my life. Part of my mission is to understand make people understand that selling is not manipulation. Selling is the highest form of service. If Anthony Robbins, I've said this a million times, I'm going to keep repeating it until you get this. If Anthony Robbins wouldn't have sold me a course a year and a half ago, I would still be learning 7 hours a day in a university I hated to death. I would be in electrotechnical engineering. I don't judge them, but it was not for me. I hated that subject. So if Anthony Robbins would have sold me a course of how to understand myself better, I wouldn't be near this place that I'm today. I would still be on a miserable place, studying 8 hours, 9 hours a day.
Absolutely, right. And if I hadn't, same thing, right? If I hadn't, if I had this vision, I had this aha moment, I had no idea how to get it out there, how to build it, how to tailor it. And by being able to take a course like through them, through Dean Graziosi, right, through Anthony Robbins, right, and all the other myriad of people they introduced us to and the things that they taught us. But that was a big vulnerable moment. For me, in the nature of my business, putting ourselves out there through a video meeting like this is just not something we do in the military, right? We don't.
It's not David. Like, it's a big stretch for him to do this. But yeah. I believe
it was a very uncomfortable action, but I knew I needed to do it so that I could help others.
Yeah, it comes from love. We both believe that uncomfortable action is the key to success, the stretching, and it's also key to happiness, right? And gives you, I mean, imagine if you want to buy bananas, and you go to the market and you tell them, I want a banana. Market tells you there's no bananas. Oh, give me an apple. There's no apples. Give me a pizza. There's no pizza. There's no pizza. It's not just service that he's doing. He's providing you with options to faster where you want or something you need. It's your obligation to sell because you're serving the other person at the highest level. I think it as an act of love, really. But that's what it is, guys. We should start to understand this more. I've seen so many business people that are great in what they do, but they're not great at marketing, and hence they get pushed down by people who don't care about the product that much. They don't over deliver up the scale I do, or Chris does, or Tony does, or these people do, Simon Sinek does. They just know good marketing. They know biases of the brain, how to make you tick. So that's why we should understand that this is service, right? We should not just try to sell us.
Yeah, and check this out. And through that, you and I have made an incredible friendship. Two people that would have never met, with common ideas, common philosophies, to be able to put our brains together and take the collaborative of our information and share it in a medium like this so that we can help others be better, right? Like, how amazing is that? We're on the opposite side of the globe from each other. Yeah, here we are.
Like, it's a 12-hour mark, or at least 7 at least.
Yeah.
I mean, it's day for him, it's night for me.
Right. But how amazing is that, right? And so by us overcoming an uncomfortable fear, we gained even more than we thought we were going to, right? We gained friendships and unity around common ideas that we could share and help others. Like, to me, that's what it's about. Human beings being human.
And also to add to that, I believe in decisions are what shape our life the most. Is we made the decision to be in this event, even if it was like 20 hours, the event was close to that. I don't remember well. I made a decision to stick with it up to the end. It was like 5 minutes breakout room with Chris. If I missed that 5 minutes, I would miss so much opportunities and partnerships we've done together, talks, people. You don't believe how productive this thing has been. It all comes from these little, actions, these little decisions. And the good news is if you don't know how to do that, you don't have to do that alone. And if that's overcoming adversity, then Chris would be the best person you can find, I think, for this thing.
But I love that you said that about decisions. Sir Edward Cook said, destiny is a matter of choice, not a matter of chance. Right? And people all too often think that when there's a decision to be made, that avoiding it means they just don't have to deal with it. They don't recognize that avoiding making a decision is in and of itself a decision.
Yes.
Not doing something is still a choice.
And it's usually the worst decision, isn't that correct?
Yeah. And look, not everybody has that freedom of choice to make certain decisions. And so the power of online processes like this opens up a whole new world to some people that don't even have those resources, right? Don't have the ability to do that just based on maybe a government or a lifestyle that they're stuck with. But out here, it's the power of learning is at your fingertips.
This online world has opened up so many options for us, but we need to be cautious when there's too much options, there's no option. So you need to understand that what cares about you is scarce now. It has become scarce, and that's the thing. Chris is one of them. In my opinion, is it? But if you really want to check him out, he has his program, You Matter. But if you want to give him a try, where can we find you, Chris?
You can find me online. I've got a website called chrisrones.com. That's CHRISRONESS.com. You can live chat me right there. They'll go straight to me, not to a robot, not to some customer service rep. Those messages come straight to me.
Yeah. And if you still do not think that, I just want to make sure that this thing is legit, this thing, Chris, is the right fit for you. We don't want to give you something that's not the right fit for you. We're not those kind of people. You can check his website at chrisrones.com. There's free resources for you that you can explore. And there's a chat. There's a chat in the website where it goes directly to Chris's computer. And you can chat with him live to see if it's a good fit for you or not. And we have an email where they can email you.
Yeah, Chris Ronas at chrisrones.com.
Yeah, Chris Ronas at chrisrones.com. Twice his name. Oh, no, it's long. But I think that Chris is, as you can see, a very welcoming person. And whatever you're going to chat with him, he's going to welcome it. He's not going to judge you for chatting, of course. And he's going to be there like almost anytime you can. So don't hesitate to write to him if you need that.
That's right.
And it was a wonderful conversation. It was one of the conversations that I get not once in a while. It's a rare one. And I think I mean that. Now, just as an overview for the Kaizen with Eris podcast, which is a podcast that is more focused on the entrepreneurial audience, as we believe that the road to building a business is also a road to self-improvement and personal development. This podcast has been about being 1% better each day and introducing ourselves to ideas that can do that for us and the people. We were in a discussion with Chris Ronas, and he had been in the military for 26 years, and he introduced to us his program, You Matter, which is a combination of his life's work and experiences that got him to develop this system and this new way of thinking that you can tap into when you're experiencing adversity, when you're experiencing perhaps even crisis in your life, and that can put you out of a dark place or even just get you more productive in your life. And I really appreciate your time being here, Chris. And I hope that we'll get to meet each other in other areas and events as well. Do you have any finishing thoughts for the audience?
No, Eris, again, thank you so much for inviting me to come be on your podcast, for being here today, to your fan base. I just thank you for your time, and I hope you got something out of this. Just remember, it's all about getting awesome and staying awesome. And so, Eris, stay awesome, my friend.
Sure, will do. Going putting me on pressure a bit here. So we'll see you guys on the next episode of Kaizen. Now, before I do that, before I send you off, as always, replay this thing. I listened to Tony Robbins' podcast. No exaggeration, 100 times. No exaggeration. This guy too is as obsessed as I am. As obsessed as I am. Because in order for you to really understand this stuff, you need immersion. You don't just need understanding in order to apply. So you do that. And we'll see you on the next episode of Kaizen with Eris. Bye, guys.